In Module 1, we'll be talking about the prologue to graphic design. We'll be looking at the invention of writing along with the creation of the alphabets. In Chapter 1, the invention of writing, we'll be discussing the evolution of symbols to our current alphabets that we have in today's world. First, we're going to talk about speech. Speech is the ability to make sounds in order to communicate, was an early development by the species on a long evolutionary trail of archaic beginnings. Writing is the visual counterpart of speech. Marks, symbols, pictures, and letters drawn or written upon a surface or substrate became the graphic counterpart of the spoken word or unspoken thought. The development of writing in visual language had its earliest origins in simple pictures, for a close connection existed between the drawings of pictures and the marking of writings. Both are natural ways of communicating ideas, and early people used pictures as an elementary way to record and transmit information. In this image, you'll see a petroglyphs. They are carved or scratched signs or simple figures on a rock. Petroglyphs, also called rock engravings, are pictograms and logograms, images created by removing part of the rock surface by carving or engraving. When looking at terminology, we're going to look at a pictograms. A picture of a lightning bolt, which can mean electricity or lightning, or a picture of a flame, which means fire. Notice that these represent concrete ideas that you can touch, smell, hear, or see. For this reason, anyone in his right mind senses an instant understanding of the meaning of this object. Ideograms are a little more complex because they represent abstract or intangible ideas. They don't represent naturally as sensible objects in our environment. No is an idea, not a thing. Ideograms, therefore, must agree upon the consensual opinion that are expressed through lines and shapes. A circle with a line through it means no. An arrow means direct your attention this way. This archaic pictographic script contains the seeds for the development of writing. Information is structured into grid zones by horizontal and vertical divisions, which is what we use in graphic design today. As we look at this clay tablet demonstrating the Sumerian symbols, we start at the top with star. Second layer, we look at head, and then last is water. Cuneiform script, one of the earliest systems of writing, was invented by the Sumerians. It is distinguishable by its wedge-shaped markings on clay tablets, by the means of a blunt reed for a stylus. Cuneiform simply means webbed shape. This is a very hard writing system to master and was simplified into 560 signs. The Code of Hammurabi is a well-preserved Babylonian code of law, dating back to about 1754 BC. It is one of the oldest deciphering writings of significant length in the world. The code is an inscription of the Akkadian language using a Cuneiform script. Here is a representative of a stamped cylinder seal. Combine decorative, ornamental with figurative images. This most likely portrays a ritual, possibly with a sacrificial offering on the right. It has both the images on the sides for rolling and an image on the bottom for stamping. It allows images to be reproduced. The cylinder seal can also be seen as the precursor to printing. This 5,000-year-old tablet is perhaps the earliest known example of the Egyptian pictographic writings that evolved into hieroglyphics. Here we are looking at the Rosetta Stone. The top and middle texts are in ancient Egyptian using hieroglyphic script and dynamic script, respectively, while at the bottom is in ancient Greek. As a decree has only minor differences between the three versions, the Rosetta Stone proved to be the key in deciphering Egyptian hieroglyphics. Cartouche, or a carved tablet or drawing, represents a scroll with rolled up ends, usually ornamental and bearing an inscription. Alphabet characters placed beside each hieroglyphic in the cartouche of Ptolemy and Cleopatra demonstrates an approximate phonetic sound. This Egyptian hieroglyph illustrates the rebus principle. In linguistics, the rebus principle is the use of existing symbols, such as a pictograph, purely for their sounds regardless of their meanings to represent new words. Many ancient writing systems use the rebus principle to represent abstract words which otherwise would be hard to represent by pictographs. Here, we see the inscriptions carved into this granite sarcophagus demonstrating the flexibility of hieroglyphics from the king of Nubi. Here, it may be hard to see, but written hieroglyphics was simplified, but they maintain their pictographic origin. This hieroglyph depicts the three major components of a scribe's equipment. First, we look at the tube casing for holding the writing reeds. Next, a leather bag that holds the colored inks. And then last is a scribe wooden palette for mixing his colors. Black was always made from charcoal, and yellows and browns were from the scraps of oxidation from iron. These beetles were popular amulets or small pieces of jewelry with impression seals from ancient Egypt. They survived a large number, and through their inscriptions, they were an important source of information for archaeologists and historians of the ancient world. The engraved hieroglyphs of the bottom were etched with a bronze needle. In this presentation, I have touched upon some subjects that I have found very interesting in my studies. I encourage you to dive deeper into the book to learn more about the different elements that have helped to improve the invention of writing.